Just to remind you quickly that all our top stories are on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. And do visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. And we urge you to please interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android, iOS, and Windows 8 platforms. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and then follow the instructions. But indeed, some pictures have been coming into us, pictures about the elections in particular, about your experience at the polls. Where are the pictures? There they are. Let's start with this one from Nasarawa, showing a senior citizen, an octogenarian, exercising her civic right. Next to that is this picture of a senior citizen who had to leave his hospital bed to vote, but there's no detail of where this happened. And from Ibadan in Oyo State is this picture showing an old couple said to have walked a long distance to their polling booth to cast their votes. Next is this image from Lagelu Ward 14 in Oyo State, showing the old and young waiting to vote. And from Abuja is this image showing voters who were said to have arrived at their polling booth at 6 a.m. They had to wait till 10 p.m., but the voters made provision for electricity to get their votes counted. Finally is this picture showing voters at Orunshoki in Lagos defying the rain to exercise their civic responsibility. Thanks so much for keeping an eye on what's going on around you as we vote, and do keep your pictures coming into us right here on Channels Television. We move on now. Some men of the Nigeria Police Force attacked Channels Television's crew in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, this evening. According to our reporter, Imani Joe Adinoye, the officers attacked them as they approached the Calabar roundabout, despite the INEC access pass pasted on the vehicle they were driving in. The crew members were on their way to the INEC headquarters. Well, as the crew were trying to take shots of happenings in the vicinity, the officers charged at the cameraman, tear-gassed him, and wrested the camera off him. The Channels TV camera, as well as other valuable equipment, was damaged in the process.
We've concluded the voting. We are still here at INEC headquarters waiting for collation, and there's nothing happening. Now, we're here, we were attacked by policemen on duty at about 5:30 to 6 this evening. We were headed here, and we found policemen on duty. There was a roadblock, and so approaching the roadblock, we decided to stop to seek permission from them and take shots. Approaching them, they ran towards our camera, attacked my camera guy, took away some valuables from us. And it was just a call we made to the Commissioner of Police, who now spoke with his men, and they allowed us to leave. So we've been here since, I think, about 1 hour plus now, and nothing is happening. But there's been propaganda that people, some party members are planning to reach, and that's why the results have not been announced. So we are still here waiting, and irrespective of what time, we'll be here to get the results and get back to you.
Well, it's expected that the Inspector General of Police, Sulaiman Abba, will look into this matter and take appropriate action. Well, there's no end in sight to the controversy generated by the conduct of the presidential and National Assembly elections in Rivers State. This time, a large crowd of All Progressives Congress supporters stormed the streets of Port Harcourt, the River State capital, to protest the conduct of the elections and also call for its cancellation. Our correspondent Emmanuel Ire reports.
Thousands of supporters of the All Progressives Congress in River State stormed the streets of Port Harcourt, the state capital. According to them, the election conducted in River State was a rape of democracy. They say no election held in the state. The protesters take the ground, the INEC chanting solidarity songs. Not even the barricade of security agencies could stop them.
Voting was not conducted according to the rule. There was nowhere people were accredited, people voted, and their votes were counted. There is no single polling unit in the state where votes were announced. We are aware that even as we speak, collation of votes is still going on the homes of various individuals across the state.
And in few police stations.
And in the few cases, police stations. We want INEC to give us a date for another elections. We need to have a fresh elections.
Eventually, officials of the INEC and the police approach the crowd. Then an argument ensues.
There were elections in Rivers State, so I don't know which elections you are talking about.
Is
yes.
It presidential and national assembly elections in Rivers State? Where?
Yes.
Where?
Where were the results?
Where?
At the local government.
Which polling booth were you?
The results? Where did you monitor?
Where did you monitor?
No, sorry, now.
Where did you monitor?
Mention one unit you monitored.
So long as you don't want to believe what I'm saying, so there's no need talking to you.
Okay, sir.
For this large crowd of APC supporters, this is a major statement that there were no elections yesterday in the states, and they are calling on the authorities to intervene to forestall any further breakdown of law and order in the states. Emmanuel Ere, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the African Union Observer Group and the Economic Community of West African States Mission have commended security agencies for their role in the presidential and primary elections in Nigeria. Now, election observers said security agencies were professional, transparent and impartial throughout the polls. They also commended the military for keeping their distance from the polling stations and maintaining law and order across the country. Our correspondent Amaka Okafor reports.
In time past, Nigerian security operators were accused of aiding and abetting misconduct during elections. However, the situation is now different. It has been an outpour of commendation and applause by election observers.
I don't think anybody could doubt that the security agencies have done some good work, because the elections have been generally peaceful and orderly all over the country, except in some very few areas.
That notwithstanding, they are hoping that the deployment of the military will be a one-off affair and not the norm.
When we praise the security agencies, we are not implying that there should be permanent features of elections, subsequent elections, no. But again, we cannot deny that the pre-election hype in Nigeria has been extraordinary, and this is why any government would take steps to ensure things would not get out of control. Thankfully, soldiers didn't obtrude themselves everywhere. They were tucked away. Rather, in the polling stations, the agencies that featured were the police people. I don't think anybody can deny that.
On his part, the Director General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps commended Nigerians for their cooperation with the security agencies during the polls. Like Oliver Twist, he asked for more.
Let us also receive the result peacefully and then go back home to demonstrate peace.
The leadership of the security agencies have continued to assure Nigerians and indeed the world that they will continue to work within the ambit of the law throughout the election season. Amaka Okafor, Channels Television News.
And the military is also talking about security during the polls and insists the deployment of its personnel across the country is not meant to ruffle any feathers. The Director of Defense Information, Major General Chris Olukolade, made this clear today. According to him, the controversy over the use of soldiers is unnecessary as they are more concerned about keeping the peace. He advised all those apprehensive about post-election violence not to worry, as the military will prevent any breakdown of law and order. Well, residents of Ekpe Central, Lagos East, have been thrown into mourning following the death of the son of the Olu of Ekpe Kingdom. He was among 6 others who died in a boat accident while returning from a riverine community under Ekpe Senatorial District. Our correspondent Harriet Agbenyi reports.
Welcome to Ekpe Central in Lagos East. Residents of this mostly fishing community were part of the millions of Nigerians who took part in the elections on Saturday.
The voting went free and fair. We don't have any problem most especially in the Ekpe Center here. Even this booth is booth 6, so we don't have any problem in the Ekpe Center.
The election was so free and fair here. No any violence or any thuggery within here.
Although a smooth process, the community woke up to some disturbing news. I'm here at the riverbank, maybe not precisely where those individuals who took off to one of the communities in the River Rhine area to go and do accreditation and vote yesterday. But this is one of the coastlines of this community here in Ekpe Central. We're made to understand that about 9 people were on board that particular boat that sank. Only 3 survived from that incident. 6 people died. From the pier, I made my way to the palace of the Oluekpe of Ekpe Kingdom, but was not allowed to speak with him. I was able to speak to a senior member of the family.
I think there are about 6 people, including the owner of the boat and 2 of his children. They were coming back from, we call that place Enyosa, that is Ekpe waterside, across the river. So along the line, there was a little bit of a storm, according to what we heard. Then the boat capsized. The owner of the boat survived with 1 of his children. The other child died. Then the Aremo, Kunle Adewale, also died. In fact, it was the first corpse they brought down. Then they said the wife of the Muiz Bello is the chairmanship aspirant for the Ekpe local government. The wife survived, but the husband died. Then 2 of Kunle Adewale's friends too died, including the PA of Muiz Bello.
Efforts to recover the other bodies are ongoing, but were prevented from filming. Less than 12 hours ago, where I'm standing at this moment was really busy. Had a lot of voters from this area coming out to cast their vote for the presidential and of course the National Assembly elections. Now the voting and the collation of results is over. Residents in this area are waiting rather anxiously but patiently as well for the electoral umpire to announce the results for the presidential and the National Assembly elections. From Ekpe Central here in Lagos, I'm Harriet Agbenyi, reporting for Channels Television News.
Tragic one there. When the news at 10 returns, more on the elections, Senate President and other politicians comment on the voting process. You join us again.